Alright, today it's been crazy, guys. Life's gonna be pretty crazy just in general for personal life and everything in regards to hard drive 32 till about June 4th and 5th. But promised myself to start this channel, even though it was one of the busiest times of my life, and that's what I'm doing. So, welcome to Hard Drive 32, channel dedicated to resurrecting the nostalgia of the 32-bit generation of games. That's Sega Saturn, that's PlayStation, that's, I'm going to consider N64, and even to some extent Dreamcast. Just that wonderful pop and optimism and bright colors and low poly graphics of ye old days. And what better way of doing that by celebrating it than making an indie game? So, to bring back what we're doing this week is we're studying the art of Hideki Ishikawa, the famed artist behind Megaman Legends and Pokemon and Power Stone, all sorts of really cool titles. It's got a great sense of style, and I think for the prototype that I'm going to be working on later down the line, it's going to be the perfect fit. And so I have to get my artist chops up and learn his style a bit so that way it matches the project and also gets me back in the flow in creating art, because my background is both graphic design and I was an art director at a video game company for 5 years, small indie game company, and very fortunate to be able to pursue indie games again. So yeah, let's go ahead and get cracking, because time is short once again today, unfortunately. So sad. And let's load up our Mega Man that we had worked on the past 2 days. I'm gonna look at my audio here too. Looks to be pretty good. I might adjust later the attack on it so that way it's not going too loud. Alright, so guys, we've got here, let's point out here, it's very obvious who's the original artist is and who's mine, but let's make it this here. This Mega Man Volnut is by Hideki Ishikawa. He's got a very volume-driven style, so a lot of cylinder circles, not just in, our little Robo Boy here, but also in his other artwork, as I'll show you in a moment, just a demonstration. And there's me. So this is mine, where I literally just traced over the volumes here in a previous episode. Let me show you. Voila. And try to pretend that, what if I was the artist, how I would break up these forms. So that's exactly what I've done here. And from there, I created more refined lines to get a lot of the smaller details. And I think I probably missed a few little details here and there, but that's all right. We'll get them near the end. And then afterwards, I added in the base colors drawn from this one here. And lastly, what we're going to attempt to do today is we're going to do the secondary lighting on him. So let's go ahead and analyze what we got going on here. See what's up. Oh, and before I forget, I was going to show you for just a moment. So this is what Mega Man looks like, but if you even look at any one of his other characters, for non-robot people, he still has very geometric style, where the arms and legs are cylinders, spheres for hands, or more like cubes, rounded cubes for the hands. His hairstyles, he loves to do some sort of shape for the hairstyle. Very distinctive shapes. Like this outfit, some Pokemon. I think this is Breath of Fire 4, a game I've always started on PlayStation, but I haven't put more time into. I'm probably going to play it on stream because it's so gorgeous. Which actually, I'll go ahead and remind you, Hard Drive 32, Monday through Thursday, is dedicated to the game dev streams. And on Friday is whenever I play either an indie game or a 32-bit game. So feel free to check out on Fridays what I be playing. There's Roll, some more Breath of Fire, and then so as you see, he has a very volume based designs where everything is very shapes driven. And now let's take a closer look at his lighting that he has going here. All right, let's erase what we got here. And I'll work fairly fast today, so I'd love to accomplish today the secondary lighting. All right, so let's see what we have going on in the original here. Going in close, we have here two different things, two very interesting things. There is, for example, in his the areas of the model that have hard lines for an object, so this like cylinder here, you have the bottom surface, so all the lighting is coming down from this top point here onto our little Mega Boy. And as you see here, that light roundly shades the cylinder. So we got a soft gradient here, soft. And then underneath, where the light isn't touching, we have hard, a very hard single shade. And it doesn't look like there's any ambient occlusion. So what ambient occlusion is let's say we had, ooh, yeah, this might work. I may be able to pull off this demonstration for you. Ambient occlusion is both the shadow and lights that come from two objects being near each other. So let's say we got our two balls here. And what would be the best way? Just the fact that these two are close to each other, you're going to have a bit of shadow. Say this was... Oh, I know a great way to demonstrate this. Allow me to educate you. Say we had a blue ball here. Get it? And ambient occlusion would reflect some of that blue onto the other surface because the light will bounce, take that color information, and reflect it onto a nearby surface. Oftentimes that'll also look like shadows, so when two objects are near each other, you'll have the shadows of each one. Great example is in the corner of any room you're looking in. If you look in the corner of a room, more often than not, the point at which those two walls meet is going to have a little shadow in there from the light bouncing and dissipating. Like the light energy will hit that corner, bounce to the other wall, bounce back to the other wall, back and forth until it runs out of energy and then creates shadow. So that's one thing as you work on video games that's fascinating. Is like I have a traditional art background, but as I worked more in 3D art, you get a real understanding for how light works and you pick up this kind of thing. So yeah, ambient occlusion is the both shadow, color, and light information passed from one object being near another object. Another thing is term you'll have to see is like bounce light. So like if that blue, for example, bouncing off and hitting the other sphere here, that's like some bounces. We'll discuss a lot of, once we get into the lighting parts of these games, I can't wait to break down in real detail how lighting works in video games, because video games have to, for the most part, most video games fake how light works, because light is photons, which is energy that gets passed to another surface, and then how those interact is how you get color and how you get how bright something is. Whew, that's a tangent. I love lighting. By the way, I really love lighting, and I'll definitely talk about it later down the line. But for now, back to where we were. If you look here, we'll zoom in real close. You look here, I'm not seeing any gray of this ball being bounced onto this blue cylinder, and I don't see any of this blue on the cylinder being passed under that gray. So we've got what is likely a single tone of shadow. And more than likely, I'm going to guess that the artist used this purple here as his base shadow color. That's my theory. And that he is either multiplying the blue, aka making the purple, this purple color here act as the shadow for this part of this helmet, for example. And on these under parts where he's having it bounce, he is using this same purple light to brighten things. That's my theory. Let's test that theory, though, on my example here. All right, so let's take, I will sample that purple here. And just for the heck of it, let us just very quickly shade a portion of this. Any part will do. We'll do a couple different sections. So like just really quickly go in here and here. Okay. Going real quick. I'm gonna worry about it later, doing the more bigger definition of stuff. Like I'll soften up the shadows after this. I just really quickly want to color in some stuff. Alright, so there you go. We've got the purple, that's fine and dandy, but what we want to do is multiply it. Ooh, that's pretty close actually. Yeah, maybe not quite. Color burn. That's closer. Sorry. Overlay, that's fairly close. Trying all of these different methods of darkening because I want to see. Honestly, multiply that gets us really close. And if I do 50, it's not too shabby. So I really do think that he used originally a purple as his shadow color, and then afterwards use some sort of blend mode like multiply to darken it. And just for the hell of it, I'm going to teach you what multiply does. So let's say we had a black here, and let's do a gray. Let's do a gray on another layer. This will be the layer we multiply. Ooh, actually, let me adjust this a little bit. We'll do a slightly darker gray on another layer. Like right here. Alright, guys. So, let's say... Oh! This is even better. I got a great way of doing this. Okay. Let's say you have the number 3. And you times it by number 6. You would obviously get... Wait, I forgot my math. 18. Dreaming and thinking. 6 times 3 is 18. Yeah, I graduated. Alright, so if you think about colors on a scale, and here's a perfect example, I will sample this color and show you. So this gray here, on the RGB scale, see these numbers here, is 215, 215, 215. The RGB scale goes from 0 to 255. As you get to a more saturated color, like say a black, you get zeros. You go up to white, you get the full 255. What is happening here is, like, if I sample this gray here, it's got a 215, 215, 215. If I sample this darker gray, it's got a 87, 87, 87. Kind of complex, but what in this case, the lighter number is the darker number. But if I go and I multiply the two, like if I have the math of each of those go over each other, and click multiply, you see how, like math, whenever 3 times 16 equals a bigger number, well, now let's see if this works right. This should work. I'll sample this. Oops. Multiply. Make a new layer. Let's combine these two. There we go. So I sample this, and it is 73, 73, 73. So if you notice, the darker color here on the left was 87. The one on the right, which is the brighter color, is 215. And the one in the middle is 73. And as we noted, in this case, RGB, because RGB is light, the more light there is, the higher the number. So 255 is the max of the scale. But since it's a multiply always equals like a darker color. It went from being 87, and when that color multiplied, it went darker to 73. It's kind of complicated, but you hopefully get what I'm saying. All those Photoshop blend modes are math, simple math. And once you know the math equation, it's not too shabby. Alright, so now, let's just say we got our, let me take off multiplier for a second here, resample our purple. I'm just going to really quickly run through, make the messiest painting here, so I can always adjust afterwards. Let's get the basics here. Oh, and I need to check just in case chat is up. Apologies, guys. There we go. Alright, we're up and going. So, let's keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. I'll make this purdy afterwards. Love how rounded he's making these forms with these shadows. So the way shading works, by the way, is if a form is curved, your shadow should be curved. If your object is flat, like if your surface is flat, then your shadow should travel the whole surface, the entire surface, as one single color. A little complicated, but once you get it down, it's not too bad. So we're just going to do the shadows for now. Not going to worry about getting it perfect. So we've got other cool things to do, because I'd love to get to some bolt today. I don't want that bolt knowledge to leave my brain. Not too worried about accuracy. Just gonna knock this out real quick, because so much more awaits us. I hope also for anybody out there, you are having an awesome day. I always feel like Bob Ross doing this stuff. Just want to be like, just really feel the moment here. Feel the digital pain, feel the bits, feel the bytes. Just know that they're there for you. They're just embracing you. Just want to give you a big hug. You know, just let the mega boys hug you, and don't follow that advice. Legally can't say that. Mega boys, what am I saying? Weirdo. All right. We make things pretty afterwards. That's what we do. Just trying to get the basics of where the shadows are traveling. And then I'll do some adjustments here in a second. I generally always prefer to do shadows first. I think it just, not for any real particular reason other than, boy, I love the effect of once you do see the shadow up and going on whatever work you're on. It just helps motivate you and get a better impression of the volumes. Some people will work the reverse, do lighting first, but this is definitely my preference. Let's get all this helmet. So I'm starting with hard brush, and then I'm going to refine the areas with a hard eraser. And then lastly, I'll come through with a soft brush eraser and get kind of the smooth transitions that the original has. This is just a real quick filling in where the vast majority of the visual information is. The shadows, I should say. Working fast and messy. Clean up afterwards. Now, I don't know if you use purple on the skin. Oftentimes, artists, they'll shade certain materials with certain shadows, but in the case of like skin, you may not want to do the same blend mode on skin because it might lead to an unnatural skin color. So like here we got this nice warm brown, this warm tone here on his drawing. I don't think I'll get the same effect if I use a purple. But we'll go ahead and we'll leave it for now. We'll see what we get. I don't think it'll give us the warm color unless we're doing something like color burn. Color burn is like a multiply, but it also changes the saturation of the color on top of it. So if you had like if I use this dark purple on the pink skin, it will not only darken it, it's going to also make it as saturated as my purple is. And in doing so, that will make his skin look, a little more pinkish because it's a more saturated version of that pink. So that might be the route I use. I'll see if color burn works. Yeah, and if you ever want, guys, eventually I'll pop in maybe I'll put it in the video description. There's a lot of really cool websites that break down to you what the different Photoshop modes do. It's not too complicated once you learn them, or once you've used them for a bit, but it's very helpful because it'll save you time when you're just floating through all these different blend modes to know what's up. The only thing that's a little complicated, and even I'm trying to remember, is some Photoshop blend modes. So inside the layer, you'll see that there's opacity for layers and fill. Well, depending on what blend mode you're using, fill and opacity can do two separate things. So sometimes you want to adjust the fill, sometimes you want to adjust just the opacity. Good to know. Sure I didn't miss any major shadows here. I probably did, and that's okay. Make sure to get all this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to 50%. Oops. Ooh. Oh, it's doing this again. I'm curious if it's something with streaming. Sorry guys, it's messing up again. Let's save and close out. Today I'm going to download more music for this channel, by the way. I'm going to download like 20 or 30 songs so that way nobody gets bored of the music they hear. No, I'm generally really happy with the music the channel's got. From a website called Thematic. Really great website. Has a lot of free stuff. Yeah, see, I saved and then quit back on and it's showing up okay. Alright. So let's set it to color burn. See how that color burn darkened it and did saturate it more, but it's definitely not the same warm. Oh, let me boost up the saturation. Oh, yeah, no, that's not. No, that's not gonna work. Yeah, I really don't think he used color, or he didn't do color burn for the skin. I think he used a different skin tone for the shadows there. So we'll fix that. Oh, before we continue, I'm going to take this moment here. I'm going to make sure that the colors I used to fill these colors, I'm going to make sure they get all underneath the lines. Talking about the shading, the color shading here for the character. Okay. More. Okay, now there's still little gaps here and there. As you see in that armor. Gosh, and blur. This isn't the way I would necessarily recommend, but it's the way I'm going to use for now. There we go. Yeah, and I'll later go back through and clean stuff up. Kind of a fun cartoony effect, but not what I want to do necessarily. Yeah, worry about that later. Oh my gosh, maybe we shouldn't do that. Go back here. Okay. We're about them fine details later. That's for another day. By the way, I'm located here in the Midwest, a place called Missouri. It's an okay state. I like a lot about it. Nice people generally. Located in the middle of nowhere. It's got its positive qualities. Alright. Check out our line work here. Looks like we missed a spot with the hair here. Alright, let's jump back to the shading. Let's do it like 30%. Okay, we'll stop with that there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a hard brush. Make sure it's a hard brush. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and take off the pin pressure because I want this to be as accurate as I can while I'm working. Because I'm going to go through and I'm going to clean up these forms later. Okay, so it goes down. Yeah, I'll blend these softly and I'll even add some smoothing. I love how even the shadows here kind of inform the volumes of our character here. It's really cool. Now I could do one of two things when I'm done with this. I could either just do a Gaussian blur and blur it uniformly. We'll see what the result of that is. I don't think it'll be great. Or I can go through with the eraser tool or a smudge tool and adjust these shadows to have smooth edges. We'll see which route I end up wanting to choose. I might want to actually have my pin pressure on, just in the case of things like that. The shadow's not great. One thing to note when you guys are working, if you want to resample a color, please make sure that you do not sample. Make sure you're not sampling the blend mode color, because Photoshop just, you select a layer, it's going to choose what color it sees under the eyedropper, but not necessarily the base. Like this purple here, it wasn't going to select the base purple whenever I work on it. It was going to instead select this kind of brown that it produced after color burn. So making sure I got the right thing. Okay. Must move faster. Oops. Whee! Let's boost this up here. Go like 100 while I'm working. Or no, 80. I need to see the base while I'm going to. Okay. Skin. Funny is there's no shadow around the mouth here, like specifically the mouth, as if the mouth protrudes. That's fascinating. So far, so good. Oops. Is anyone else jealous of Mega Man's locks? I brought it up last time about it being probably gross because he's under the helmet, but man. Those have to weigh a ton if those are metal. How much of him is human? Always work messy to clean. Best approach is sometimes you'll accidentally do something that has a lot of heart. I think you'll just do a part of your drawings messed up, but it'll have such a style and flair for it that you'll actually like the result that your messy hand produced. Let's go bigger with this brush. Start doing more area here. Oh, I lost it again. What is up with this? Like an issue with channels. Oh, Photoshop. How are we doing time-wise, by the way? 2:04. Okay. Go as fast as I can. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even see this. Check out, there's like a... Oh, I kind of messed up there. That's pretty neat. Okay. go ahead and fill in this bit. Whatever it may be. Okay. Sure. That'll work. Let's see here. Go ahead and take a moment here. Find this. The thing about it is, too, at the end of the day, like, I'll be the one working the project for this beginning, and I just needed to have enough visual information to hopefully sell the concept of the game and also convey to maybe other team members what I'm going for. I just say that as I practice on this, I don't need to get exactly a replica of this guy's artwork, but I just want to capture enough of the spirit that another team member could understand what I was going for while I was working. Alright, we're going to get the major shadow forms. It looks like there's some secondary ones in here. But we'll get those later. Some lighter shadows that are occurring. Oh man, and the lighting's, by the way, once I do start doing the lights, everything's going to pop so much more, because then you'll have shadow and light interacting, and it makes such a massive difference in understanding these forms. Let's get this. Okay, color born, normal. Let's sample. Oh, I lost it again. Come on, thing. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and add this shadow to my swatches so I can switch to it a little bit easier. And it's breaking again too. What is this? What is going on? Okay, got that on the swatches. That's good. Where were we at? Oh, yeah, okay. Closer to the big moment, everybody. When I do a little refinement that'll actually make this look real good. Okay, getting close. Almost, my friends. We're almost there.
I don't want your story, I just need a name. Details only bore me, we just came to play. Everyone around you is just in the way. You don't want my story, you just need a name. And it goes 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4. Make the same mistake on board. Running circles round our heads. Laughing hurts, so we play dead. 5 times, oh, and that makes sense.
Okay.
Really hoping this one
That's largely the basics of what we got going on for the shading portion of it. Cool. Now then, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a mask so we can avoid destructively working on this. Let's go ahead and do wait till I feel good about these colors. Okay, let's start with this. Now we're going to, cool. We're going to switch to a black brush on the mask, and it's going to be specifically a soft brush. Oof, I missed a spot. Okay, one second here, guys. Gotta get this. Where did I get that? Okay, soft brush. That is black. Oh my gosh, it's not working again. Guys, what is up with this? Do any of you know why Photoshop is doing this? This is crazy. Alright, we'll soften these shadows real quick, and then we'll call it for the drawing, and we'll move on very quickly to Unity to continue our, there we go, our work on Bolt. Let's see here, we'll go, see how close that almost is to his lighting. Definitely parts of his face here that just don't work. This is a non-destructive way that I'm doing it, so if I need to adjust these afterwards, I haven't lost any of my color information, which is great. And the larger my brush is, the softer my edge is going to be. He's got such a sharpness to his volumes that mine is lacking, that's for sure. We'll get there. Not going to worry too much about the skin shading because I do need to just go back through there and change how the skin is shading, period. So he definitely did some sort of warm color there. Just going to make sure all of these harsh edges get softened. And the soft edges are always going to be the ones that are on rounded surfaces. Never on a hard surface. I'll go back through and I'll definitely touch up as this goes. Be little parts here and there I'm definitely gonna have to touch up afterwards. Definitely will. Okay. see here, really quickly, let's erase the stuff on his face here, because that does need to be just a totally different color, kind of a warm color. So he used a purple shadow for sure on everything but the face, and that's really common to do in illustration. You shade everything but the face a certain color. And that's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in a group here. Oops. So I can have in a way like a second mask, and that second mask is going, actually, you know what? You can do this too, guys. Boom. I linked the body color to the shadow color, and that's gave me this. And let's turn this into a smart layer so I can do further editing. And filter. Oof, that's not the type of smart layer I want to make. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur, 1. Just gave everything. Let's do it even a little bit more. Blur, Gaussian blur, 2. There you go. There's be parts of this I definitely want to go through. Get harsher. Okay. We'll stop there for now for Megaman today. By the way, it looks like his black layer isn't actually a black. It's a sort of red here. That's really common too. And there's some cool artists that do really neat line work colors. It looks like it's a warm, some sort of warm color here. Yeah. There we go. It's a little bit closer to what he had. It's not perfect. We're getting there. Some definite differences, and we'll keep adjusting it. But when we come back tomorrow, we'll do the highlights and then skin color. All right, let's see what time it is. 2:24. We're low on time, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop up in Unity Hub for just a few minutes. And let us continue our Unity Hub tutorial, our Bolt tutorial. And just a reminder, this is Hard Drive 32 Station YouTube channel dedicated to 32-bit games and reviving them by making one ourselves. And I am Alex Wolkin. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe if you're running on a cool project yourself. I would love to help out, love to feature it. Love to pick your brain, learn from you, and hopefully learn from me. And feel free to follow me on Instagram at harddrive32. That's where I do a lot of updates and when I'm streaming. And I try to stream Monday through Friday from 12:30 to 1:30 or 2. All right. Let's see here. Enemies and AI. Oh no, guys, we might call it for today. Fair warning, this section is the hardest part of the tutorial and will require the combined use of every skill we've learned so far. Flow graphs, state graphs, super units, transitions, macros, custom events, and variables. Make sure you understand every previous section before starting, because now that the concepts have been introduced, we'll go a little bit faster than usual. When we're done, the final set of graphs will look like this. Let's look at this. Okay. They're kind of creating some behavior states as well as calls to animation and damage. Take a short break, stretch your legs, and when you're ready, let's get started. Let's call it quits for now because the highlighting portion won't take that long tomorrow for Megaman. And when we come back tomorrow, we will do primarily the AI, and we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much again for joining me. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day. I mean, honestly, if you got sun, you go enjoy that sun and work hard, play hard, love yourself, and this hard drive